I've got a question. How's the audio, right? How do I sound? Do I sound fuzzy, real echo? I broke my other lapel mic, and so I've got this crazy, weird 85-foot ghetto one. What am I going to do? Well, apparently, I'm going back on Shark Tank. Boom! How was that for a subtle intro? Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 21. So for those of you who don't go to my website, IamAlphaM.com on a daily basis, or follow me on Instagram, tisk. No, I get it, right? You get enough of me. You probably don't know this, but your boy Alpha is actually headed back on the ABC hit show Shark Tank. It is the season finale. I've already filmed this thing how long ago? It's almost been a year. It was last March that I actually applied to be on my second time, season 7. And so it's almost been a year. This has been the single hardest secret that I've had to keep. It has been so incredibly difficult just not to scream it from the rooftop. And if you actually, it's funny because I didn't know that I was doing it, but in some of these other vlogs, the earlier ones, I kept talking about Shark Tank as a great example. And in one of the vlogs, I go, I don't know why I keep talking about Shark Tank. Huh? It was an omen. Or is that? No, not an omen. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I wanted to take this time and this vlog today and talk a little bit about rejection, because the first time I was on Shark Tank pitching the Alpha M style system, I got the big kibosh. They hated this. But it was really this and their rejection that led me to start Pete and Pedro, which ultimately ended up being incredibly successful. And so I just wanted to sort of dive a little bit deeper into the fact that we are always going to face rejection at some point. But there are two different types of people. Some people get rejected and they stay down, right? They get so emotionally invested in something. Somebody tells them, no, it doesn't work, it isn't successful, and they fold under pressure. And they never have the confidence to try again. The other type of people are those that take rejection and it fuels their creativity, it fuels their desire, it fuels their passion. They get back up and they try again. When I got rejected, they literally, they hated the style system. But I was probably like you. I'm an entrepreneur, and I was like, oh, it doesn't matter what they say because I'm going to be on a nationally aired television show and I'm going to sell zillions of units and I'm going to be rich. Well, the lesson to the style system, I priced it at $300, right? It was a info product, and info products you can charge a little bit more, and it was the first lesson that I really learned the hard way in terms of if you get one thing wrong. This was a great idea. It's a formula to teach guys how to dress for those of you who are super new and have never heard of this style system. But I got something wrong. First off, it was DVDs. It wasn't technology. If I would have went in there and been like, oh, it's technology, it's going to teach you, that would have been interesting. Price, I charged $300. It was way too high. And so the combination was wrong. The idea was solid, but the execution was bad. And thus, I got rejected in the Shark Tank. But even worse than that, when the episode aired, nobody bought it. The night that Shark Tank aired, I sold 1 unit. That was it. Talk about heartbreaking. I felt totally rejected. It was almost, I don't know if I was depressed, but for a few days, I was really pretty bummed out. It was I felt like I squandered an amazing opportunity. And, I eventually, in, like I said, a week, I came out of it. As an entrepreneur, I don't have the luxury of, sort of having a pity party for too long. I needed to figure something else out. And I didn't know what it was right away, but ultimately it was this rejection and the feedback that they gave me that led me to the idea of, hey, hair product. It's a low price point product a lot of guys need, and it's something that guys want. it's something that I know a lot about, and so let me see if I can actually make this. And it worked incredibly well. Anyway, long story short, I launch it. I decide that I'm going to try and get back on Shark Tank. This was, like I said, about a year ago. And the process was the same. I still had to apply. I still had to do all that, but I ended up making it on and went out and actually pitched last like June or July. So I know what happened. I'm not going to, actually I'm not going to. I'm not allowed to ruin the surprise and tell you sort of what happens if I get a deal or if I get rejected a second time. But you guys will just have to tune in to see. The episode is airing May 20th at 9 p.m. on ABC. You gotta tune in, set a reminder on your phone, whatever it is, make sure to tune in. I'm not gonna do another vlog talking about it, but it is exciting, and I'm really just, I'm so thankful that I tried again. And it's one of those things where I could have just sort of run away, and I could have put my tail between my legs and really cried about this because it didn't work out, but I didn't. And I guess the takeaway lesson to this is you really need to decide what type of person you are. We're always going to have people that tell us we're not good enough, not smart enough, our ideas are stupid. Constructive criticism is one thing. If nobody buys it, guess what? They were right. If everybody buys it, they were wrong, great. But take what you can and take what you can learn from criticism, from failure. If you fail, pick yourself back up, get back on the horse, in this case, back on the shark, and make it happen. Tiege Hanley is another one of those examples, right? It's another, hopefully, success story. But it all stemmed from getting told I was wrong. And thankfully, I'm pig-headed enough and stubborn enough to think that I'm smart enough to figure out a better way. And hopefully I did. And so anyway, guys, that's all I really can say, but I just wanted to let you know that rejection hurts, it sucks, but there are two types of people. Those that are like, oh, poor me, that stinks, I'm gonna be miserable and I'm never gonna do anything because getting rejected is horrible. And it is. And the other type of people are like, whatever, rejection, bring it, because I'm strong enough, I'm smart enough. I might not have gotten it with the style system, but I'm sharp. Next week, it's back to Tiege. And I won't say ruin the surprise, but I will say this. If you're not signed up to our newsletter over at Tiege.com, you're not going to be eligible to try the products. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I'm not talking like charging. I'm talking samples might be going out or talking about it. You'll have to tune in next week to see. Guys, later. Oh, and this will be better next week. I promise.